Let us remain standing to observe a moment of silence for personal reflection or prayer in preparation for the meeting and in remembrance of all the Ethekwini residents impacted and affected and the families of those that lost their lives during the recent civil unrest. Thank you. You may be seated. The next item is official announcement by the Speaker. The city is still reeling from the civil unrest that plagued the province and other parts of the country almost 3 weeks ago.
Madam Speaker.
Oh, Councillor Mthethwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I appreciate on behalf of the DA that we have reconvened this meeting within the stipulated 7 days. But I have a problem. You've just said correctly so that the meeting could not reach quorum. But if I may ask, how many councillors were there in that meeting, and have you received LOA from those who did not attend? Because you and I, Madam Speaker, know that there were a lot of councillors who were at ICC, especially ANC councillors who were at ICC but did not enter the meeting venues. I'm asking this on behalf of the people of Ethekwini, Madam Speaker, because I'm sure there are cost implications that go with the meeting that was collapsed by the non-attendance of the ANC councillors. And this is not the first time, Madam Speaker, this has happened. And I want you to place on record, are you going to take any action against those councillors who were there at ICC but did not go into meeting venues? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Order, Speaker.
Thank you, Your Worship, the Mayor.
No, the Mayor can relax. I'm done. I'm waiting for your answers.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I raised my hand before he finished because I view a member of this council who's out of order. Because we haven't had you were still going to give us your official announcements and your reports. So remember, just jump in and just dictate the terms of how this council must be run. So I think it's out of order. We're supposed to wait for you to present your report. Thereafter, we engage your report. Thank you, if there is a need to do so.
Thank you, Bab Mayor. Bab Nyambose, the question that you asked, I am not able to answer that now. I can answer at some other time because I don't have that information now. Let me continue with the announcements by the Speaker. The City Hall is still reeling from the civil unrest that plagued the province and other parts of the country almost 2 weeks ago. The economic, psychosocial, and physical impact of the unrest is still being felt throughout the affected areas. The city would like to convey condolences to the families of those who lost their lives during the ensuing chaos. The city is communicating with residents and members of the community to ensure that we collectively recover from the events that occurred. The city would like to convey condolences to the family and friends of the Johannesburg Executive Mayor, His Worship, the former Mayor Jeff Makubo, may his soul rest in peace, Singer Steve Kekana, Dr. John Tibane, Dan Maswanganye, Actor Mutodi Nishehe, and Shona Ferguson, the veteran actor and producer. Councillors, to note that in order to maintain order during the meeting, all microphones will remain muted and will only be unmuted when one has raised their hand and has been recognized by the Speaker to speak. But we will allow the whips and chairpersons of committees to have their microphones open, remain unmuted so that they are able to assist us, and the Chief Whip as well. Best wishes to all the councillors celebrating their birthdays last month and this month. And this month, the month of August, all the kings and queens are born in the month of August. And the Speaker was also born on this month. Councillors are brought to the attention of Rule of Order 16, Section 1, A to E, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. As per the rules, councillors are requested to conduct themselves in a respectful manner, to refrain from interrupting the proceedings, and are encouraged to conduct business with the highest decorum and integrity that the occasion and the residents of the municipality deserve. Thank you. We will now move to the Speaker's report. The Speaker does not have a report because of the minimal activities undertaken as a result of level 4 of the COVID-19 risk adjusted strategy and the recent civil unrest that were experienced. We are now going to check the attendance before we continue with our meeting. Can I start with the DA?
Madam Speaker, at the last count, we were 38. If you can just give me a minute, I'll come back to with the updated numbers.
38 was the last count. Okay, I'll give you an opportunity to check. IFP?
Madam Speaker, at the moment, we are 7. Other colleagues are still trying to join. Thank you.
IFP is 7. Other members are trying to join. EFF? I don't know whether the information we got from the representative of Councillor Ngosi is correct, that they are not here. Langaman?
Yebo mfana. Cha bengizwe emachwaleni ukuthi ngathi bayamashela ePhoenix namhlanje.
Oh, EFF, are we here?
Madam Speaker, it's DLC Patrick Polley. I think that the EFF is in Phoenix today, this morning.
Another representative of the EFF, Councillor Pillay. Okay, they're not responding. Can we go to Mosa, Councillor Moodley? Mosa is here, thank you. AIC, Councillor Mhlaba, where are your members? Is the AIC here? AIC, there's one. APC, Councillor Ngubane. APC, there's nobody. Councillor Patrick Pillay.
Madam Speaker, I am present.
Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Isop, ACDP.
Madam Speaker, ACDP is present.
Good morning. Councillor Khan Al-Jama. No response. TA, Councillor Shahid. Zero for now. Councillor Maharaj, she's here. Councillor Ngumalo. Zwide, are you here? Councillor Mabanga, your hand is up.
Councillor Mabanga is here. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Sibisi. Councillor Mbanjwa. Councillor Mbanjwa is not here. The ANC, Chief Whip.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Greetings to you. For now, we are 76 who have connected. There are 5 that you are not sure of. If the Secretariat can check if those are official or they are councillors. The first one is SS Ku that I raised previously. The second one is SS.
Chief Whip, from the Secretariat here, they tell me ANC has 80.
Oh, okay. It means that they know, because some they connect it through the private email that I don't have. Then we are 80. Then is that the number that?
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chief Whip, you're 80 now. And then Councillor Ngumalo, I see your hand is up. Zwide.
Ngikhona ma.
Ngiyabonga Khehla. Okay, let's then wait for Secretariat. Councillor Mthethwa, when you are ready, please shout.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Currently, we are at 42.
42 currently. Zwide, sicela wehlisa isandla baba. Chief Whip, please mute. Zwide, please lower your hand. We do have a quorum. The total is 135. It means we can then proceed with our meeting. Can we then move to the next item, which is application for leave of absence? Acting City Manager.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I've got the following application. The first one is from Councillor D.M. Kanyile for the period from the 29th of July to the 1st of September, indisposed. Councillor S.C. Nchangase from the period from the 5th, which is today only, also indisposed. Councillor V. Mngadi, period from the 4th of August to the 6th of August, reasons personal commitments. Councillor Nicole Graham for today only, no reasons given. Councillor N.L. Kuzwayo from the 3rd of this month to the 5th of this month, indisposed. Councillor Councillor Roy McPherson from today to today, 1 day, reasons, personal commitments. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Acting City Managers. City Manager, are all these leave of absence applications accepted, councillors?
Accepted, Speaker.
Councillor Mabanga moves for adoption. Nyembose, your hand is up. Councillor Mtetwa.
Yes, Madam Speaker. I think somehow your office missed Councillor Kanaki Pilay's LOA. And also, just for the record, it is Rory McPherson, not Roy.
Thank you.
Rory.
Are you supporting that we accept the applications for leave of absence?
Councillor Stoll, Mpume Stoll can support that.
Oh. I'll make a Councillor Mpume, is your hand up? Do you second that? Any seconder for?
Councillor Nxumalo, second.
Thank you, Zwide. Then we have the next item is confirmation of minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes of the meeting that was held on the 29th of June 2021. And another set is an in-committee meeting minutes that was held on the 29th of June 2021.
Hello.
I'm in the meeting. I'm in the meeting.
Are we confirming those minutes, councillors?
Councillor Nxumalo, confirm.
Thank you, Zwide. A seconder?
Councillor Mkhize, second.
Thank you, Kabazele. Councillor Sipho Kaunda?
Covered, Madam Speaker, because the
You wanted to
item has
second.
been seconded.
Okay, thank you so much, Bimbi. Then we move to number 9. There are 4 questions to be responded to. The first question is on page 5. I'm told Councillor Biela is responding to this question. Oh, when I ask you to speak, please raise your hand so that we can unmute you and then you unmute yourself. Councillor Biela, please raise your hand so that we can unmute you. I was given 2 names. If she's not able to, can Councillor Busi Kumete respond? Please raise your hand so that we are able to unmute you. Chief Whip, can you try and get hold of those councillors and see if they do have a problem? In the meantime, let's move to the second question, which is on page 7. Councillor Mgwengwe. Councillor Mgwengwe. Please unmute Councillor Mgwengwe. His hand is up.
Thank you, Somlomo.
Thank you, Baba.
Inyanga yabesifazane. Somlomo ngizophendula imibuzo elapha ku page 7. Impendulo yokuqala, it's lack of coordination of the program. Number 2, it was due to capacity constraint and reduction of budget. Number 3, I just want to clear issues here. This question was directed to, it's about CIP, but there is a matter which was raised in the Sunday Tribune, which we assume it was not about CIP, but it was a normal budget processes. But we are responding on CIP. Then number 3, no formal request was received for fencing of the market, of the open market. The entire question falls off, but we recommend that the councillor liaise with CIP office. Number 4, yes, there is a budget of 720,000 allocated. Shelter is not part of the program. Then 2021-2022 budget, as it planned, we anticipate to complete as it is, but it depends on the systems if they go well. Answer number 5, no financial request for this project, the parking. Then number 6, as we have responded, when there is a budget for anything in that financial year, the intention is to spend the money, but it depends to the same circumstances. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Mgwengwe. Councillor Tony Govender, your hand is up. Please unmute Councillor Govender, Tony Govender. Go ahead, Councillor. Please unmute yourself.
Madam Speaker, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I find this rather strange. The response that I'm getting here, the House is being misled. I think if the municipality goes back to all the submissions that was made by myself, you'll find that everything has been requested for. And I find it rather strange that some of the answers is incorrect. So I will follow this up with the relevant sector, and I'm hoping that this issue will be rectified by the end of this financial year. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move to the next question, which is on page 10, Councillor Ngongo. Please lower your hand, Councillor Govender.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Do you read me, Speaker?
Yes, I can hear you, Baba.
Thank you very much. Greetings all. Answer to question 1, 2019-2020 financial year adjusted budget was 279,751,198. For 2020 and 21, there is no budget for that. Answer to question 2, The actual spend for 2020 was 280,893,835, and it covers all areas. Number 3, the budget was overspent by 1,142,637. Number 4, budget in-house service is adequate for the number of resources within the branch. Number 5, there is a shortage of photo cells since the contract for the supply of photo cells has not been awarded as yet. The contract LED fittings was just awarded a few months ago. Number 6, proactive protocol patrols of major roads in the ongoing as part of our inspection plan. We're saying it's ongoing. Number 6, 6.1. 6.1. It is not possible to quantify this figure due to numerous repeats reports of failures reported by the member of the public. 6.2. Solar-powered street light is in the process of being investigated by engineers. However, the securing of batteries for theft comes with its own challenges. 6.3. The lighting works branch prioritizes repairs based on when it was reported. However, there is an acknowledgement that there is a backlog. We must acknowledge that there is a backlog. Number 6.4, the lighting works branch comprises of 24 artisans, with each having assistant. 6.5, there is currently no shortage of spares or fittings, currently receiving about 1,300 fittings every week, so we don't have any shortage. Number 7, Avanza, 5 crane truck, 1 Avanza, 5 crane trucks, 3 bakers, 1 telecom 7 double cabs, 2 VW Polo, 1 panel van. Unlicensed are 21. At the workshop, we have 10 trucks at Springfield Workshop. We also have 7 trucks at Mobeni Workshop. We also have 4 trucks parked at Lighting Works, awaiting to be attended by the tire section. Contractors, there are 42 service providers specifically added under fault contract to respond to street light fault at the moment. Number 8, prioritization is given based on the date of the report, as well as location. Major roads are prioritized by a dedicated team. Number 9, as the Electricity Contract Center, we have taken a different approach in that we will be upgrading the entire WhatsApp platform to cater for all queries quickly and efficiently. Some of the benefits of these upgrades are: A, automated responses to common queries. Multi-user supports unlimited numbers of agents can be logged onto WhatsApp at the same time. Ability to exchange multimedia content, chat queuing, ability to integrate with other systems for automated work allocation, multi-language support. Number 10, a iconogram for the officials in the streetlight unit is required. Okay, we have attached an iconogram. Number 11, the answer is cable theft. Hotspot areas identified, teams are deployed to react to cable theft incidents and to proactively monitor hotspots. since we have a challenge with the issue of cable theft. Illegal connection as well. We have dedicated contractors who are removing the illegal connections in the affected or identified areas as a routine basis. The long-term plan for the unit is to electrify the normal settlement to ensure that all customers have access to service and to prevent unplanned outages and loss of revenue. With that being said, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Ngongo. The next question is on page 13, Councillor P. Gasa. Please lower your hand, Councillor Ngongo.
Okay.
Councillor Gasa, please raise your hand so that we can unmute you.
I can search the web for that. Just tap this.
She raised her hand, Madam Speaker.
Please unmute her. Then unmute yourself and then go ahead.
Am I audible, Madam Speaker?
Yes, you are, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Question 1 is Human Settlement Unit implements all resolutions taken by Council as part processes of municipality. And 1.2 refer to item 1.1 of question 1. Question 2, the Motala farmland was purchased by Human Settlement for a low-income development housing project. And A, the property has been transferred to the Ethekwini Municipality. The project is currently under planning stage. B, investigation is being conducted between Human Settlements Unit and Real Estate to get more clarity on 700 sites at Tongati. Thank you, Madam Speaker. That will be all.
Thank you, Councillor Gasa. Let's go back to page 5. Councillor Biela. Please lower your hand, Councillor Gasa.
Madam Speaker.
Chief Whip.
Councillor Sokabase will respond. Councillor Biela can hear you, but she's failing to connect.
Okay.
But she can hear you when you speak.
Councillor Sokabase, please raise your hand so that we can unmute. You're unmuted. Please unmute and speak. No part. Yes, Mama.
Okay. On question 1, the answer is municipality is doing assessment on all rental stock. The team is working together with all stakeholders of the area to prioritize critical structural defected blocks to be undertaken within limited budget. Structural defected units are to be prioritized, which might cause danger to occupants. Numbers of the flats to be addressed for the particular wards depends on the amount available to undertake the work. Question 2, due to the limited budget, in this financial year, 2 by 6 families units and 8 rain beds will be undertaken. Also 2 by 6 families units under the will be undertaken at Clayfield. Question 3, the block was identified as very critical and required urgent attention. Service provider, engineers and contractors were therefore urgently appointed to undertake their scope of work. Question 4, Provincial Department of Human Settlements provides budget for the rectification of pre-1994 residential properties. Amount to be spent in the specific block is determined by the final pre-inspection by professionals engineers. Question 5, due to limited budget in the financial year, few blocks of flats are selected for ratification. Ratification policy states that priority should be in those structural defected blocks. Whenever funding is available, these blocks will be attended to. Question 6, there are 23 units that still belongs to council in Ward 48. Title deeds are issued to willing buyers. Tenants have a choice not to buy or register for transfer and obtain a title deed. Council has a duty to promote home ownership, but cannot compel tenants to buy. Letters are sent to tenants on a monthly basis to promote home ownership. Question 7, in 2014-2015, 24 blocks were renovated in Phoenix Ward 48 at a cost of 8 million. Question 8, pre-1994 ratification program in all affected areas was put on hold in 2015 due to financial constraint. This has been slow progress in this program due to limited budget. Question 9, structural inspection and report was done in 2016-2017. Due to financial constraint, no work was undertaken. Engineers, together with Ethekwini and appointed contractor, also undertaken assessing of the current condition of these blocks prior to repairs. Question 10, due to limited funding available, currently identified 2 by 6 families units in rent bed and 2 by 6 families units in Clayfield to be done this financial year. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Sokhabase. We then move to the next item, which is the item on reports. But before we handle that, are there any councillors that have interest to declare? Please lower your hand, Councillor Sokhabase.
Councillors are saying to you, Madam Speaker, happy birthday to you in advance.
I want it on the day. Thank you so much. On the day, please do remember the big day, the 9th of August. Councillor Prampakas, your hand was up. Did you want to declare any interest?
No, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Okay, it means there is no councillor to declare an interest. We will now move. We have 2 EXCO reports and an in-committee report. And I will now invite Councillor M. Kaunda, His Worship the Mayor, to table the first report.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The great amakhosi asendlunkulu sikhuleke kubuholi bakithi. All councillors present, the administration led by our city manager and the members of the public. Before I present the first report, we also wish our women in the city and in the country all the best as we'll be celebrating the Women's Month. Today, earlier on, we had a very successful women's celebration gathering with women of our municipality. We wish them everything of the best. May the good Lord continue to protect them even during this hard and difficult time. Let me take this opportunity, Honorable Speaker, to present the first report of the Executive Committee. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bab Mayor. Before I hand over to the city manager, councillors, can I declare that this item is for noting the first report, because we have the same item on page 56, item 12, where we'll be able to discuss. I will allow all the councillors who were on the list for this item in the first item to debate on the last, in page 6, item 12. Is that agreed, councillors?
Agreed.
Agreed, Madam Speaker.
You are muted, Madam Speaker.
Councillor Mthethwa.
No, thank you, Speaker. I just want clarity there. We don't mind doing that, but what's going to happen with the issue of time? Because if we were going to speak on the first item, we want us to speak now on the last item. It means that our time that we're going to use on the first item must be allocated to the last item. So if we have 3 speakers on this item, they must both be accommodated. But we don't have a problem as long as the issue of time will be accommodated.
Okay, we'll accommodate. Just read Acting City Manager for noting.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The first report of the Executive Committee is the preliminary report on civil unrest experience within Ethekwini Municipal area. The committee recommends.
Are we noting, councillors?
Noted.
Thank you. I will then invite the mayor to read the second report, to table the second report, I'm sorry. Councillor Kaunda, Your Worship, the mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. I would have taken the municipal manager's task if I read it. He was supposed to transfer his salary to me then. Let me just present the second report of the executive to the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. Acting City Manager.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. The second report of the Executive Committee is a committee report from Human Settlements and Infrastructure. The first item there is the proposed closure and sale of road area of land over proposed portion A of the remainder of F583 Lamesi. The committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Unmute yourself, Madam Speaker.
Please, Councillor Pramkapash, lower your hand. Thank you. The recommendation is carried. Next item.
Second report is the proposed long-term lease of F1 F325 Durban North, plan number SJ4732. The committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed, councillors?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Councillor Mthethwa.
Sorry, Madam Speaker, I wanted to address on item 1.1, and unfortunately, I was somehow unmuted. The DA will be voting against item 1.1, so that it is recorded accordingly.
The DA is voting against 1.1. And who else is against? Councillor Pramkapash, please lower your hand. You're confusing us here. Who is against? Thank you. You've lowered your hand. It's only the DA that is against. It means the recommendation is carried. The next item,
The proposed alienation of the remainder of portion 35 of F1713 Wentworth, plan number 4755/8. Committee recommends.
is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
Next item is the proposed lease of the remainder of F1244 Wentworth, situated at 54 Trekker Street, for parking purposes as depicted on plan number SJ 4696/4A. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
The next item is the proposed lease of the remainder of F1071 Seaview and remainder of F793 Dance Grant for parking purposes as depicted on plan number SJ 4721/3. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed, councillors?
Agreed.
Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
The next item is the proposed lease of land adjoining 86 Lillian Ngoyi Road, Windermere, for public parking purposes. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
The next one.
Madam Speaker.
Who's speaking? Chief Whip?
The Chief Whip.
Yes,
Yes,
Chief Whip.
no, Madam Speaker, we agreed to the item, but can the city manager say item like item 1.6, because we are connected on a gadget, so that although he says what item is it, so that we'll know what item is it, but we are agreed on the item. Thank you.
We're doing 1.7 now.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you.
Item number 1.7, a request for approval to host a career symposium for grade 12 learners on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics for as a 3-year program from 2021 to 2023 that is aligned to the Department of Education curriculum assessment policy statement. The committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Councillor Mthethwa's hand is up.
Yeah, the DA will abstain here, Madam Speaker.
The DA is abstaining. Who else? Who is against?
The DA.
Nobody is against. Who is abstaining with the DA? The recommendation is carried.
Item number 1.8, request for approval of the grade 12 winter school outreach program, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education support that is aligned to curriculum assessment policy statement. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
Item number 1.9, request for access and earthworks funding by USDG at Lower Molweni Rural Housing Project. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
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 The recommendation is carried.
Item number 1.10, request for access and earthworks funding by USDG at Emapepeteni Phase 2 Rural Housing Project. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
Item number 1.11, bulk water supply contract between Ethekwini Municipality and Umgeni Water and minor amendments relating to water quality specification. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
Item number 1.12, request for authority to reallocate funds within the block sum project number X1558 to various water projects in the year 2021 to 2022 financial year. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
Item 1.13, authority to transfer funds from various projects. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
Item number 1.114, reallocation of funds across capital projects. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
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 The recommendation is carried.
Madam Speaker, we are on the report of Economic Development Committee, report number 2. Item 2.1, approval of Ethekwini Municipality Precinct Management Framework for Priority Economic Areas. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed, councillors?
Agreed.
Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
Item number 2.2, approval of funding support for clothing and textile cluster program. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
As I Shiswang and agreed.
Agreed.
Of course, you are out of order. The recommendation is carried.
Item 2.3, proclamation of Widenham wetland for environmental protection. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
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 The recommendation is carried.
Item 2.4, authority to acquire land for environmental protection purposes. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
Item number 2.5, motivation for Ethekwini Municipality to enter into a third memorandum of understanding with C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group, including GIZ. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
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 The recommendation is carried.
Item number 2.6, adoption of the reviewed Ethekwini Municipality land use scheme comprising of 6 planning regions, which are Central, North, South, Inner West, and Outer West, and Reservoir Hills. Committee recommends.
We have speakers here. Councillor S. Sibisi from the Democratic Alliance. Councillor Sibisi, please raise your hand.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Ngiyabonga. If there's one thing that the DA believes in, Madam Speaker, it's rule of order. And we appreciate the fact that there's some form of direction when it comes to tackling the issue of student accommodation, and that is very encouraging. As we have seen, there are many student accommodations popping up all over the city, and many of them do not have any building plans. For example, in Reservoir Hills, we have many accommodations popping up on varsity drives with landlords hoping to make a quick buck. UKZN Westville has about 14,000 students and 10,000 of them require residence. The city should have been proactive many years ago, anticipated that there's an increasing demand for beds in residential areas such as Glenwood, and these places have been negatively affected by the constant popping up of student accommodation and amenities being destroyed. We accept the fact that there has to be accommodation in the city, but it has to be done in the correct and proper manner. We are not happy about the way that this item has been tabled. Firstly, there were some missing important documents at the beginning, and the city knows that our biggest problem in the city is enforcement. Metro Police are currently inadequate to deal with enforcing such things, and other departments are also currently overwhelmed, and we have no idea how many students are actually living within our city. Public participation should also not just be a box-ticking exercise. We need to make sure that we advertise items properly and that people who are affected by this can have an opportunity to directly comment. So therefore, Madam Speaker, the DA will be abstaining from this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ndlovu. Please lower your hand, Councillor Sibisi. Councillor Ndlovu from the African National Congress. Yes. Please unmute Councillor Ndlovu and go ahead, Busi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, maybe one should clarify that the land use scheme determines and regulates the use and development of land, and it's reviewed every year. Now, we've been reviewing the land scheme every year, and we haven't encountered any problem. The only problem now is that we mentioned the student accommodation. I know DA has got a problem, has got a serious problem against the student accommodation. And Madam Speaker, I think we should pride ourselves as a city that we have a number of institutions of higher learning. And that goes without saying that there's a high demand for student accommodation. And Madam Speaker, maybe just to refresh our memory, during the apartheid regime, it was very difficult for a black child or a child from a poor background to access the institution of higher learning. Thanks to the people of South Africa who in majority entrusted us as the ANC to take charge, hence addressing the imbalances from the past. Madam Speaker, let me remind fellow councillors or counterparts from the DA that this is an ANC-led municipality. So as an ANC, we have the responsibility to provide solutions on the issue of the student accommodation. We can't let the student sleep on the streets. We have to provide solution to the challenge of the high demand of the student accommodation. The only way we can do that as municipality, we're not going to go around building structures, building our student accommodation. All what we need to do is to align our scheme. When we review, we need to align our scheme to address the issue of the student accommodation. Thank you, Madam Speaker. As an NC, we support the recommendation as it is. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ndlovu. The DA is abstaining. Who else is abstaining?
No one.
Only DA.
Okay. Who is against? Nobody. The recommendation is carried.
Item number 2.7, application in terms of section 26, subsection 1 of Ethekwini Municipal Planning and Land Use Management Bylaw of 2016, Municipal Notice 114 of 2017, Amendment of Ethekwini Municipal Land Use Scheme, Outer West Planning Region Development Facilitation Table by introducing a new zone called Planning Unit Development. The committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed, councillors?
Agreed.
Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
Item number 2.8, approval of Durban Fresh Produce Market rental discount for the purpose of attaining transformation. Committee recommends.
We've got speakers here. Councillor Mngadi from the DA. Please raise your hand, Councillor Mngadi.
Am I audible, Speaker?
Yes, you are.
Ngiyabonga. Speaker, if anything, the week of the 11th to the 18th of July was a stark reminder to us all of how equality, rule of law, and restorative justice as principles underpinned in our Constitution are fragile and should be protected at all costs. Speaker, in the wake of the widespread devastation noted by all of us here as councillors, I attended a community liaison meeting to which the context that arises, I think, is important to share with council today, because it clearly underpins how a government, through adversity, can move its citizens forward if it chooses to do so. Speaker, in 1994, Rwanda had a genocide, a widespread devastation of its people. However, post that conflict, the government instituted policies that were able to move its people past that hurt and suffering into a period of growth, and today is noted as being the Switzerland of Africa. Here, however, Speaker, we are regressing. We are regressing because we continue to divide our people based on race in an attempt to feign some kind of restorative justice. This item, Speaker, doesn't speak to the broader context of how South Africans are suffering because of bad economic policies, because of bad governance, and within departments because of incompetence. This is feigning some kind of restorative justice at the expense of marketers of the Clearwood fresh produce markets. And we cannot, as a municipality, support any kind of policy that is going to divide people on the ground. Speaker, if councillors here today had noted articles that came out from IOL, Independent Media, The Post, and the likes, they would have noted that those articles quoted individuals who will be directly implicated if the city passes this policy. All of them, Speaker, were against this. And I want to point out and rephrase back to the devastation we experienced of how it wasn't just black Durbanites or white Durbanites or Indian Durbanites who were standing guard as barricades. It was Durbanites irrespective of race. When people pay rates, Speaker, we don't choose a white Durbanite or a black Durbanite to pay rates. It is Durbanites that pay rates to the city. And so how can it be, Speaker, that a policy then implemented says that only African marketers are going to be benefited by a rental reduction? That, Speaker, is divisive, because when you get to that market, those benefits that the African marketers are going to get are going to be passed on to consumers, and that creates unfair competition. It creates division, Speaker. The same kind of division we saw spill out onto the streets in this city a few weeks ago. And so as the Democratic Alliance, we absolutely cannot support an initiative that seeks to divide people on the basis of their race. If you want to sort out the economy, if you want to empower marketers, if you want to create some kind of restorative justice because of our shared history, Speaker, you don't do that by saying because you are black and African, you're going to benefit, and because you are an Indian marketer, you're not. Today, there are people marching in Phoenix, creating those racial divisions in our city. And today, we're also trying to pass similar policies. So I beg parties listening to this today to actually look at what is being proposed here and how that's going to be communicated to your constituents. Because, Speaker, I tell you this for sure. If this is passed, it is going to create that division in Clearwood, and it is going to spill out onto the streets like we've seen in the past weeks. And so as the Democratic Alliance, we absolutely cannot support a race-based policy that seeks to divide the citizens of our city. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga, Councillor Mngadi. I don't know who is your people when you said your people are marching in Phoenix today. Okay, Councillor Pillay from the DLC. Please raise your hand so that we can unmute you.
Madam Speaker, thanks a million. I'm now unmuted.
Okay,
Madam
we can hear you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the hardships experienced by citizens of the economy is not only reserved for any specific race group. When the economy is down, everyone suffers. The DLC supports redress of the past, but will not support...
Just a minute, Councillor Pillay. Councillor Premkapash, your hand is up. Or Councillor Maharaj.
Yes, Madam Speaker, my hand is up.
Yes, why is your hand up? Do you have a point of order?
No, Madam Speaker, I want to speak on this as well.
No, you book before you come to council. You don't speak on the day. You make an arrangement before. Thank you. Please lower your hand. Continue, Councillor Pillay.
Madam Speaker, my time must be adjusted, please. The DLC supports redress of the past, but will never support resolutions when other races are selectively excluded from redress benefits that affects all blacks. Madam Speaker, it would be disingenuous for our city to only provide selective economic redress during these hard times. In fact, all traders at the bulk market are currently experiencing financial hardships, and every trader should be considered without anyone being prejudiced. The DLC will not support this item, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Madlala from the African National Congress. Please raise your hand. All
His
right.
hand is up, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Go ahead, Hloko. Please raise your hand again. They don't see your hand from this side. Okay.
His hand is up, Madam Speaker.
Yes, we're trying to unmute this side. Okay, go ahead, Hloko.
Madam Speaker,
Yes, I can hear you, Bab.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Mayor and the Executive Chief Whip, Councillor, fellow Depenites, good day. As the ANC, Madam Speaker, we want to first and foremost signal support for this item. Madam Speaker, South Africa is ranked #1 in the world for income inequality. In 2019, Dennis Webster said, the economic fortune, I quote, the economic fortunes of the poorest people in South Africa are similar to those of the most impoverished people in Burundi, while the richest people in South Africa can be compared to the richest in Belgium. Now, that is the extent of this income inequality that is experienced. Secondly, Madam Speaker, the economic report by Trade and Investment, KZN, put our province's Gini coefficient, that is the measure of inequality, at 0.63. That was in 2019. This income inequality, Madam Speaker, is a legacy of apartheid. We must acknowledge that. It is also because of the adoption of the neoliberal policies under the neoliberal macroeconomic policies called GEAR, which has set our country back for many years. The income inequality, like its ugly stepsisters, which are poverty and unemployment, in our country, in our province, and in our city are racialized and gendered. Therefore, any attempt to deal and to eradicate them needs to start with an acknowledgement that it does not affect all South Africans equally It affects South Africans according to their race and according to their gender. Any attempt to brush aside this is dishonest and will not help the people of our city. Madam Speaker, I read somewhere that the DA said when this was being debated, both at ECOT and at EXCO, they said that this is an attempt to elevate one race over the others. That is dishonest, Madam Speaker, because even after we have adopted this policy, as we are going to adopt it, it's not going to change the demographics in the bulk market. It's only going to put Africans at 33% of the people who are trading there and who are benefiting from that very important institution in our city. It's going to put Africans at 33%, Madam Speaker. Now, we all know that if you want to have a state of equilibrium in society, a state of unity, you must ensure that a participation in the economic activity is very much reflective of the demographic of that country, of that province, and of that city. As we speak, as we sit here, poverty has a face in our country, in our province, and in our city, and that face is Black and African. Now, for any person to come here and pretend that by giving discount to a few Africans, you are prejudicing Indians who are already trading there, is dishonest. How is giving few Africans a discount prejudicing Indians? Because they're not going to, their tables are not going to be taken away from them. Their stores are not going to be taken away from them. They've been trading there alone without the Africans, and they saw nothing wrong with that. And the DA, which is very vociferous now, saw nothing wrong with that all along. Now that we are trying to fix these things, they are coming here and saying we are dividing society. We are not dividing society. Our society is divided by inequality, by poverty, and by unemployment. And any person who wants to present something different from that is either that person is dishonest or is blind. Otherwise, that person does not deserve to lead any person, because we cannot, any unity that is based on Africans keeping quiet about their economic situation is dishonest. So we're not going to take that. As the ANC, we support this, and we think it's a step in the right direction, but it's not enough, because it's only going to put us at 33%. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Madlala. The DA is against, DLC is against. Who else is against?
Madam Speaker, the ACDP is against.
The ACDP is against.
Madam Speaker, the Minority Front is against.
The Minority Front is against.
Madam Speaker, IFP will abstain in this item.
The IFP is abstaining. Councillor Pillay. Councillor Pillay.
Madam Speaker,
Yes.
the DLC does not support this item.
Yes, I said so.
Yes. Thanks.
Lower your hand. All right. There's another hand. Councillor Pillay, please lower your hand. Well, it means the recommendation is carried. Thank you. Councillor Moodley, before we move. Okay. The Independence, Councillor Mabanga. Please raise your hand, Mabanga. Councillor Mbanjwa, I see your hand is up.
We support the item.
Councillor Mbanjwa supports. Councillor Moodley. Councillor Moodley. Councillor Sibisi. Councillor Mtetheleli Sibisi. Councillor Mabanga. Councillor Nxumalo.
In support.
Councillor Nxumalo is in support. Councillor Moodley, please lower your hand. The recommendation is carried.
Item number 2.9, motivation for Durban Film Office to support adaptation of theatre play Greatness Within You to a 90-minute feature film. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Councillor Moodley, please
Agreed.
lower your hand.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Agreed. The recommendation is carried.
Agreed.
Item number 2.10, retail market tariffs. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
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 The recommendation is carried.
Item number 2.11, approval of green buildings incentives policy. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed. Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
Madam Speaker, we now move to the third report, which is the report on Finance, Security and Emergency Services Committee. Item number 3.1, budget statement report for the month ending on the 31st of May 2021. Committee recommends.
We've got speakers here. Councillor McPherson. Oh, he's on leave. Councillor Ben.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and colleagues. The first point to note under this item is the fact that we're dealing with the budget statement report for the 31st of May, which means that we are 1 month away from the end of the financial year. So there's not much point in haggling over too many of the figures, but there are a few things I'd like to highlight. The first one I'd like to highlight is an issue which is actually mentioned in the introduction to the recommendations, but it's such a stunningly important issue that I'm going to read it from the report which came to the Finance Committee. It's under the heading of events, launches and investment, and under the heading Durban Harbour ranked in World Banking Report, the sentence reads, and I'm going to read the sentence and I hope colleagues are listening very attentively. The Durban Harbour has been ranked in the bottom 3 of the world's 351 container handling facilities, according to the World Bank's Container Port Index, Performance Index 2020. That's so important, I'm going to read it again. The Durban Harbour has been ranked in the bottom 3 of the world's 351 container handling facilities, according to the World Bank's Container Port Performance Index 2020. As a harbour city, with our economy based almost, no, not almost entirely, but substantively on the functioning of the harbour, that is a stunning blow to the solar plexus of this municipality. I realise the city does not run the harbour, but it provides the infrastructure around the harbour, and the city, I hope, is doing everything possible to try and get Portnet to look into how it runs the harbour, because it is really a sucker punch to our municipality to have our harbour rated so poorly. There are stories of the harbour being actively avoided by merchant ships because of the lack of productivity in our harbour. The second I wish to mention is the question of water losses. where although the percentage came down slightly from April 2021 from 50.54% down to 52.0%, but the actual quantified amount, and this is only an estimate, has risen from 1.5 billion rand in April to 1.65 billion rand in May. We simply cannot run our city on the basis that so much money literally goes down the drain. We've tried at finance to get details of the impact of this hemorrhage of our finances, but as yet no one's been willing to come to the finance committee and address the rands and cents of the losses. The next issue I want to highlight is the fact that we've got 15.7 billion rands worth owed to us again. We're going to talk later about the state of the overdraft, and I'll raise those figures again. But if you look at the top 10 debtors, which is mentioned in the budget statement report, the very first item is Transnet. The amount owing is 638 million rands. Please take note of that figure. I'll mention it again later. One debtor owes 638 billion rand in a matter which 638 million, not billion, 638 million rands, in a matter which has been under arbitration for, I think, 4 years. It's inconceivable that in the 4 years, the legal issue, whatever it might be, has not been resolved. With respect, I ask the acting city manager to please take note of the amount of effort that's been put into resolving that arbitration. The nature of the individuals involved in Transnet is known, and one wonders whether the municipality is putting as much effort as it should be into resolving that, because that amount would make a huge difference to the finances of the city. For the rest, we'll wait for the July budget statement report at our next meeting and get into the rands and cents of the bigger municipal picture. But that's enough for now. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Shelembe from the African Congress. Please raise your hand. Councillor Shelembe, please raise your hand.
His hand is up, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, we've seen it now. Unmute yourself and speak, Councillor. Unmute. You're muted. Councillor Shelembe. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Councillor Shelembe.
Can we proceed, Madam Speaker? I'm sure he's covered.
Councillor Mthethwa, unfortunately, you are not the chief whip of the council.
Udliwa yini ukhabazela? Wawenzani ukhabazela?
Have you got connectivity issues, Councillor Shelembe? Chief Whip, can you speak to him?
Unmute Madam Speaker. I'm not sure whether his secretariat yakwazi.
Is he unmuted?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Akakhulume. Please speak, Councillor Shelembe.
Nshilo.
Akaphinda raise isandla
Hello,
sakhe.
Chief Whip.
Please raise your hand again. We have lost you this side.
Madam Speaker, the system has kicked him out.
Chief Whip have spoken, Madam Speaker.
Okay. But this item is for noting.
Noted.
Is the recommendation noted?
Noted.
Noted.
Recommendation is noted.
Item number 3.2, Ethekwini Municipality Public Tender Awards Report for June 2021. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation noted?
Noted.
Noted.
Thank you.
Item number 3.3, update on credit facility and short-term overdraft facility with Nedbank. Committee recommends.
Both the speakers on this item are not in the meeting, Councillor Graham and Councillor McPherson. Is the recommendation agreed?
Madam Speaker,
Agreed.
the DA will abstain.
The DA is abstaining, and who else is abstaining? And who is against? The recommendation is carried.
Item number 3.4, unauthorized, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure incurred for the year ended 30 June 2021. Committee recommends.
Councillor Ben? Please unmute yourself, Councillor Ben, and speak.
Thank you. I see no trouble with my buttons there. Thank you. Unauthorized, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure for the year, financial year. We at the report at Finance, Security, and Emergency Services Committee, we were almost slapping ourselves on the back for the fact that it's from 2.3 billion rand in 2018-2019 down to 1 billion rand 2019-20. And now we're quite proud of ourselves for only having 275 million rand unauthorized, irregular, and fruitless and wasteful expenditure. But it's a sorry story when you look at the detail, because the ETA is responsible for 155 million rand of that amount. And we have amounts like 124 million for work done in BRT route C1A, was amended without authority, expired contracts used for consulting engineers and for contract monitoring, and this is a repeat transgression. What sort of municipality are we running that we keep having a whole lot of repeat transgressions and amounts carried on in terms of expired contracts? The next item on the list, provision of bus and taxi rank ablution cleaning without a valid contract. How do we spend 5.7 million rand worth of money without even having a valid contract? I hope that these issues are being taken up with impact and that there will be consequences for this sort of cavalier approach to the spending of the municipality's money. There are endless examples of work done without an expired, or in terms of an expired contract, and without authority, and often with being described as repeat transgressions. I know Impact has its hands full already, but I'm sure there's a whole lot more for them to do here. And it noted that this is just the unaudited amount. We wait with interest to see what the audit amount ends up to be. While it is a vast improvement on previous years and this regime which ran the city, but it's frankly not good enough to have so much money done illegally, and I use the word in the broad sense, and hopefully the figure will be reduced more into the future when we have a competent for this municipality. The DA will be abstaining on this issue. Thank you.
Unmute yourself.
You are muted, Madam Speaker.
Thank you so much. Councillor Shelembe, please unmute yourself and speak.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg for your indulgence because I wanted to raise some highlight on the budget statement report, but due to technical glitches, I couldn't. So can I go back to the budget statement report?
No, let's not go back because we are done with that. Let's deal with this one.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The finance cluster have pursuant to the mandate of the African National Congress implemented control to cap and prevent unauthorized, irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure. The intervention has resulted in a major reduction in UIFW over the past 3 years. The comparative figures of 2.3 billion in 2018-2019 financial year and 1 billion in 2019-2020 financial year has further reduced in 2020-2021 financial year to 275 million prior to audit. The fruitless and wasteful expenditure of 460 has been detected and reported by various departments. For the year ended 30 June 2021, no unauthorized expenditure was reported during this period. The desired position for the irregular expenditure is 0, but the municipality will still work very hard to further reduce this irregular expenditure. With the view of the above fact, the ANC note the irregular and expenditure. Thank you.
Thank you. The item is for noting. Who is also against? Can we check?
IFP cannot support this item, Madam Speaker.
Against.
Yes.
Okay.
ACDP against, Madam Speaker.
ACDP is against. Who else? And who is abstaining? The recommendation is noted. Next item.
Item number 3.5, request for additional funding to cater for overtime expenditure in respect of Security Management Unit. Committee recommends.
We have speakers here, Councillor Zet Mkhize from the DA. You can speak, Councillor Mkhize.
Okay, thank you, Speaker. When you check this item, the security emergency unit, it consists of VIP contracts and surveys, land invasion control, city hall, escorts, and rapid response. And when you check with VIP protection, we have 67 councillors that are under VIP protection, whereas they are protected by 137 protectors, which is not good at all. And when you check 2020, we're having COVID, and the security, with my understanding, they were not that busy while we have a COVID because the councillors were not moving. But we are here today asking for 59 million for overtime. When you go and check in the CPD, you see the number of crime it's going up each and every day. But we need overtime for these colleagues. When you check the number of land invasion, it has gone very low. But we are here again looking for this amount of money. And when you check the car park incidents, they are growing up. There are like 23 incidents in 1 month that happens in the city hall. What are they doing? Where are they? Aren't they supposed to protect the city hall? They are not there. And when you even check, even now in city hall, you won't find them, or you'll find them in the streets of in CPT, waiting or standing wherever they are, but they can't do anything. But we are here today looking for the amount of money for overtime. What overtime are they doing? Where are they working? So we need to know these colleagues, where are they working? But it seems as if what they do need it's money. They need more overtime, whereas the service delivery it's going low in our municipality. People are so desperate for water, electricity. Why don't we take this money and help these in service delivery? Why are we giving this money out to the people who are not working, who don't deserve this? These colleagues don't deserve this amount of money for overtime. SDA, we are against this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nyanisa. Please raise your hand. Okay, if Councillor Nyanisa is your Councillor Tango, can you speak? Raise your hand, Councillor Tango. Please unmute yourself, Councillor Tango.
Am I audible, Speaker?
Yes, you are.
Can you hear me, Speaker?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you very much, Speaker Bingelele. Honorable Speaker, sometimes we oppose just for the sake of opposing, singamakhansela. Futhi fanele mhlambe sibuye sinciphise kancane nakugavini. Honorable Speaker, the VIP protection when it comes to the issue of councillors.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Nazok.
Councillor Nkosi.
No, we cannot be in the meeting whereby a councillor will say, if a councillor ukuthi yena uphuza ugavini la ehlala khona angazokusho la mhlangano nonathi khona.
Please withdraw, Councillor Tango.
Hey, I withdraw, Speaker.
Thank you.
I withdraw.
Sure.
Now, Honorable Speaker, my submission is quite simple.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Mtendo's hand is up.
Speaker.
No, I'm covered by Councillor Ngosi, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Tango.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, we've tried to capacitate the councillors from the opposition party that each councillor does not have the same VIP protectors. It's based on the risk assessment which is being done. So then coming back here and making a submission, ayihlukile nengane efundisa first year kaningi lokhu ifeyila ngenxa yokuthi yahluleka ukuthi ithi a e I o o. Speaker, when you talk about land invasion, you can say that it decreased, but the reality of the matter is that it's different if Kuguti, the space which is invaded is equivalent to half a stadium and a place which
Councillor Mthethwa.
Oh, Pagit.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, sir.
No, my hand is not up. I think it's Councillor Mkhize's hand that's up.
Councillor Mkhize. Please lower your hand, Councillor Mkhize.
Ngicela withdraw mezothi ene Syria ezingane. We are not kids as we are here. We are here to stay for our community. Just withdraw your tongue.
I withdraw Makabaze. Speaker, for the interest of time.
Yes.
So, Speaker, in the main, I think we are being quite petty if we are saying people, and it's insulting to say that officials are not working where they're working, they want money and so on and so forth. It has been put through in the committee that it is quite critical. They are understaffed, they are overworked. That is the reality of the matter throughout these 5 areas within security management. So they do deserve the money so that they are able to execute. Now, the problem, Speaker, here is that when we go out and require private security in terms of land invasion and all these things that we need assistance of, is the same opposition party which cries foul. Now we're saying, no, it's fine. We'll internalize everything, but allow us then to have money for the overtime. They're still crying foul. The opposition party does not know whether they're going west or east, and in the process, they want to confuse all of us. The African National Congress supports this recommendation, Speaker. I thank you.
Speaker?
Councillor Mthethwa.
Cha, Speaker, ngiyayicelela nje ukuze singawona umhlangano. Please protect councillors. Again, Utango, Uchi, Badukavin Labu. That is an insult. I thought we had dealt with that, and I thought he withdrew sincerely. But it cannot be that we come here and get insulted and you don't protect us. Please. For the sake of
Madam
this meeting,
Speaker.
But what do you want me to say? Because I have protected you. And Councillor Mkhize said he must withdraw, and he did. What else should someone say? You want me to say withdraw, Councillor? He said he's withdrawing on his own after he was told by Mkhize.
maybe we didn't hear Mr. Speaker when he was concluding. He said again, Baluka Vinda.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Madam Speaker.
Chief Whip.
No. On a serious note, ukhansela uLokhunja uNyambose udlala ngathi. Godwa ukhansela uThango uwithdrawile, Madam Speaker. But on a lighter note, there is a councillor here okade khuluma ngisakhumbula ukuthi ubani. Wambuza Madam Speaker ukuthi uyizwe ngobani le ndaba, wathi uyizwe eBeer Hall. eBeer Hall vele kudliwa zona lezo zinto, Madam Speaker, but I'm saying on a lighter note ukuthi ukhansela uThango has withdrawn. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Whip. Let's
Silekelele somlomo bengathi mebashaya kudistill lapha neClermont bese becathi sonke siyaphuza.
please withdraw that. Please withdraw that, Councillor Nkosi.
No, ngeke ngikuwithdraw.
Ubani oshaya idistill ba Councillor Nkosi?
No, abantu baseClermont. Angithi amuzi umuntu waseClermont uthini, Madam Speaker? Ngeke ngiwithdraw ke impela le.
Okay, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Councillor Nyanisa is available now. Please raise your hand, Councillor Nelly.
It looks like she's using Councillor Mbambo's gadget. Honorable Speaker.
Let's look for Councillor Mbambo and unmute Councillor Mbambo so that she can speak. Councillor, please raise your hand on Councillor Mbambo's gadget. Please raise your hand again. You raised your hand and you then disappeared immediately. Okay, she's unable to. Let's move. Is the DA is against? Who else is against?
IFP against, Madam Speaker.
IFP is against.
Madam Speaker, the ACDP is against.
The ACDP is against.
The next item.
The DLC is also against.
The DLC is against. ACDP? Okay, Councillor Ngumalo?
In support.
In support. Councillor Mabanga? Councillor Mba.
In support, Madam Speaker.
Councillor Mbanjwa is in support. Usibisi no Mabanga are not here. Okay, the recommendation is carried. Okay. MF. Councillor Maharaj. Councillor Mabanga supports. Councillor Maharaj, can we hear your voice?
Madam Speaker, can you hear me?
Who's that?
Councillor Mudley, Mosa, I support.
Councillor Mudley supports. Mosa.
Minority Front against, Madam Speaker.
The Minority Front is against. Okay, thank you. The recommendation is carried.
Item number 3.6, Memorandum of Agreement between the South African Breweries and Metropolis on Alcohol Evidence Center. Committee recommends.
Councillor Pillay from the DLC. Councillor Pillay, P. Pillay from the DLC. Okay.
Sorry, I got cut off. Are we on item 3.5? No, my apologies.
We are not on item 3.6.
3.6. No, I did not submit my name for that item.
Is that Mabang Pillay?
Just a quick one. I mean, the full council meeting is like a crazy time, man. And it's done virtual, but you know, Grant's presentation raised some concerns.
Aibo.
You know, the problem is not in our municipalities.
Councillor,
I think it is the rural municipalities where we face this problem, you know, in the ERIC side of things. Because a lot of these guys don't understand the processes And, they come back and they attack us unnecessarily. And sometimes national don't intervene, especially this guy.
Madam Speaker.
Now, the truth of the matter is, I know that in your
Councillor Isop. Councillor Isop.
bakwethu senzani manje?
Councillor Isop, your hand is not, your name is not here. Okay, is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Councillor Mabanga, agreed.
Agreed. And Councillor Mumalo?
Agreed.
Councillor Mbanjwa?
Agreed.
Who is against? Who is against?
Akekho, Madam Speaker, Kuba.
Okay, the recommendation is carried.
Item number 3.7, Memorandum of Agreement between the Road Traffic Inspectorate Agency and Ethekwini Metropolitan Police Service on service outlets, kiosks. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed, councillors?
Agreed.
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 The recommendation is carried.
Madam Speaker, we are now on the report of Community Services Committee. Item number 4.1 of this report is the request for approval for renewal of 5 full blue flag beaches, 7 pilot blue flag beaches, and 1 new blue flag beach. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
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 The recommendation is carried.
Item number 4.2, adoption of management effectiveness tracking tool by Ethekwini Municipality in the nature reserves owned by municipality. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
Agreed.
Item number 4.3, a request for approval of service level agreement between the Department of Health and Ethekwini Municipality to render personal health services for a period of 3 years. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
Item number 5, request for authority to undertake City Hall building upgrade and renovation. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
Item number 6, a request for the extension of expanded public works program. Committee recommends.
We've got speakers here. Councillor Tim Tetwa from the DA.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think we've been dealing with this burden and the news around our necks for almost 3 years now. One must say we appreciate the fact that the EPWP is a program of poverty alleviation run by the Department of Public Works through the municipality. It therefore means that our expectation as the DA is that whatever funds allocated by the department, we recruit beneficiaries based on the funds that we have. But over the years, it has become clear that the municipalities is now funding this program more than the department itself. In 2019 September, when you, Madam Speaker, and other members of the ANC ESCO came into office, this was one of the reports that we were confronted with. And the promise then was that we are going to undertake a very simple process of trying to verify the beneficiaries of this program so that we do the head count, because it was very much clear at that time, as it is still clear now, that there are many ghost beneficiaries in this program. 2 years down the line, we don't have the report. But what keeps happening is that we keep giving these top-ups running to hundreds of millions of rands. As the DA, therefore, Madam Speaker, we've been saying this for over 2 years now. We are not going to support this program. Whilst we appreciate the fact that there are people, there are families who benefit out of this, poor families in the main. But until such time that a simple verification and head count is done, we are not going to agree to any to anything that's got to do with EPWP. We do know that these people, it's very easy to verify, Madam Speaker. These people have got supervisors. They are under certain units. I mean, units that it would be very easy for units to say these are the people who are the actual beneficiaries, so that we are able to root out all these cost beneficiaries. For that reason, Mr. Speaker, until such time that this program is cleaned, we are not going to support it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Pillay from the DLC.
Madam Speaker, the Extended Public Works Program is a great initiative of the national government. The EPWP have provided jobs to the unemployed for many years now. It was an opportunity that our city it is an opportunity that our city must embrace. Madam Speaker, if we do not extend these contracts, thousands of people will be included in the unemployment register, and their families will be suffering the consequences of our inaction. Therefore, Madam Speaker, despite what has been said, it is paramount that we do not sacrifice the livelihoods of families. Therefore, the DLC supports this recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Mstole.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we wish to commend the officials that were tasked with the task of the verification of the EPWP beneficiaries. It must be noted that when they started the verification, there were over 5,000 beneficiaries in the system, but now we are at 4,700. The report, Madam Speaker, is at an advanced stage. It must also be noted that they were not only doing e-verification, looking for ghost employees only, but they were also looking for those that were double dipping and in the process and still doing skills audits for all the EPWP beneficiaries. So, Madam Speaker, in phasing them out, we need not just leave them in the code, but we also should look for placements within the municipalities and at provincial level. Some will be assisted in the programs that our municipality is implementing, like programs within EMA. The process, Madam Speaker, is supported by our internal audits and skills development. Siyababongela abantu baseThekwini abahluphekayo abakule program ye-EPWP ukuthi umkhandlu wethu usaholwa i-African National Congress ngoba umkhandlu onakekelayo ohlezi ngasona sonke isikhathi ubheka ukuthi ushintshe impilo zabo. We are therefore requesting here, Madam Speaker, that the Council approves an extension of their contracts for a period of 12 months, starting from the 1st of July 2021 to July 2022. And we also request an additional funding to supplement the 2021
Ngamkelu Councillor Chole.
2020 grant that we.
Okay, thank you. Koba Councillor. We lost you again.
You lost me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, I was saying we are therefore requesting that Council approves an extension of the contracts for the EPWP for a period of 12 months, starting from the 1st of July 2021 to July 2022, and also to request an additional funding to supplement the 2021-2022 financial year incentive grant that we received from the National Department of Public Works, Program and Infrastructure. Ngiyabonga, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The DA is against. Who else is against?
Madam Speaker, the ACDP is against.
The ACDP is against. Who else is against? Who is abstaining? Okay, I'm not going to call out the independents because if they were against or they were abstaining, they would have said that. Yeah. Yes. It means the recommendation is carried. Thank you.
Item number 7, Madam Speaker, is the draft terms of reference for Ethekwini Municipality Disciplinary Board. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Agreed, Speaker.
The recommendation is carried.
Item number 8, proposed alienation of F number 1298 Kingsborough by private treaty to the adjoining owner, conversion of leasehold to freehold on plan number SJ 4655/4. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Item number
The
9.
recommendation is carried.
Item number 9, Audit Committee report for the second quarter ended 31st December 2020. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation noted?
Noted.
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 Yes.
Item number 10, individual performance agreements and individual performance plans for Section 54A and Section 56 for the financial year 2020-2021. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation noted?
Noted.
Noted.
Speaker.
Item number
The recommendation is noted.
Item number 11, Service Delivery and Budget Implementation Plan Report for quarter ended 30 June 2021. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation noted?
Noted.
Speaker Samba Mulai.
Item number 12, response to civil unrest experienced within Ethekwini Municipal area. Committee recommends.
Okay, it's the item that we said we will allow all the speakers that were on the first item to speak. And yeah, we'll start with Councillor S. Susanka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Am I audible?
Yes, you are, dear.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, to say that Metro Police, public order policing and security management let down the citizens of Ethekwini would be an understatement. Their conspicuous absence contributed to the lawlessness and anarchy which prevailed in the city, allowing ANC factional unrest, rioting, looting, and brazen criminality to destroy businesses and the lives of ordinary law-abiding citizens. One can only assume that the absence of real hardship and political will was a major contributor to the distrust which now exists between the citizens, the ANC, and law enforcement agencies. Where were the well-publicized multi-million rand ratepayer-funded Metro Police Caspers that went ghost during the crisis? Not surprisingly, though, and in grand style, miraculously reappeared after the mayhem to be found Ethekwini's first citizen on one of his glamour talk shop tours to the riot hotspots. Where were the trained Metro Police officers to handle such situations? Why did we not see even the basics like roadblocks and well-armed officers with tear gas dispersing the looting criminals? Communities were forced to defend themselves, their properties and the infrastructure, while the well-camouflaged unseen security units who no doubt will submit substantial overtime claims for the week of mayhem. No one anymore would believe that 137 security personnel with a fleet of 97 dedicated vehicles protecting 67 councillors is right, when the residents of this city had to protect themselves, their homes and their families. 400 odd Metro Police personnel for a population of 4 million people left the residents of Ethekwini with no choice but to form human barriers around their communities. A continual breakdown in SEM processes and a lack of political will by the ruling party to fill vacancies has exacerbated the delay in recruitment processes. The disaster management unit, or should I say the disastrous management unit that houses the emergency call center, suddenly became disabled, much like the imploding ANC. Emergency calls for Metro Police, Metro Fire and disaster management could not be logged as frantic residents desperately called for help. The lights literally went out on the CCTV monitoring center as all 67 staff members became handicapped. A repeat of the Durban July. Only this time the horses wore blindfolds and not blinkers. Nobody saw anything. The eye in the sky was blinded to the migration of looters arriving in all modes of transport towards businesses, malls and shopping centers. This city failed to implement the 8 million rand disaster management plan. This too paid for by the ratepayer. Perhaps the city coffers have been looted too. Shocked viewers watched on national television and on social media as the law enforcement units of this city helplessly stood down while the looting continued, some giving way to hooligans who wreaked havoc on the city. And to add insult to injury, Metro Police officers who were on duty decided to go on strike in full view in front of the city hall, parading their indiscriminate attitudes in full view of the nation and the world. There's one thing that this city must take cognizance of, and that is, in the time of crisis, ordinary citizens banded together, equipped only with survival mode instinct to protect each other and even the families of the law enforcement units. Don't underestimate the power of unity. ANC, you should be very worried and know that your days are numbered. When a city unites in the absence of law enforcement, you may have created a monster that you yourself will have no control of. The DA will be calling for a full review as to why citizens and businesses of Ethekwini were left abandoned, why the ANC leadership and his cadre-appointed officials went to ground, and what the cost of the destruction amounts to, so that the ratepayers can decide on its way forward. Business will no longer be business as usual. No one trusts the ANC and the political parties that support them. Bring on the elections. It's time for DA leadership. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Councillor Govender. Your first bite and the second bite. Councillor White Govender.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'm going to dispense with my preamble for the sake of brevity because of the time limits herein. But I think Councillor Susanka has covered everything quite succinctly. But let me turn to deal with the recommendations in this item. As you have noted, the DA has several times called for 100% rates rebate for property owners whose buildings are just simply non-functional. Most of these properties have been drastically devalued as some have been razed to the ground. Most businesses have been actually forced to rent premises elsewhere, which is actually a double strain on their finances. Some do not have SASRIA insurance to cover any startup costs, let alone to pay salaries. There are a few things glaringly absent from these recommendations: social assistance, small business assistance, and overall of safety and security resources and mechanisms, and the inability of Metro that has just been unpacked. We are going to sit in meetings for another month while we deliberate on how to fix things and wash the blood off people's hands. This is not acceptable. Let us talk about the silence of Ethekwini Municipality on social assistance. With the thousands of jobs lost, this SRD grant has been problematic and it is simply not enough. What does Mr. No SRD grant eat tonight? What does Mr. No Sastria eat tonight? Recommendations are eerily silent on that. Also, the city is clearly remiss on how they're going to keep investors, businesses, and tourism going in the city. What is your plan to recover the losses of the thousands of job losses and to re-energize growth in the city for tourists? What is your plan to entice them and to keep them here while the narrative of the city is flames, smoke, and mayhem? The city deserves better. You have nothing tangible to offer. Only a change in leadership can do this. Thank you.
You saved us time, Councillor Mthethwa.
I'm covered, Madam Speaker. I'll leave it in the capable hands of Councillor Kavanda.
You're covered. Can we have His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Kaunda?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Our view as African National Congress will definitely differ with the Democratic Alliance because they are talking from the helicopter point of view. They have not been on the ground. The ANC-led municipality with its leadership, we were working with people on the ground. We also targeted the areas where racial tension showed their ugly faces, were the first one to be on the ground to interact and bring together communities so that we can find amicable solutions in these issues. We have also met, because they are here just to lament, we have also met businesses of this municipality, CEOs of big companies. Without fail, all of them, Honorable Speaker, they've committed themselves and also pledged that they will retain their businesses in Ethekwini, because we have engaged them on the number of interventions which we'll be making together with the national government and provincial government as a local sphere of our government. So there are many interventions. Part of those interventions, we have appealed to businesses that will assist them so that their matters do not run whilst they are still in a process of rebuilding. They will come forward, we'll work with them in that regard. We are also going to put packages to intervene to those small businesses, emerging businesses who do not have insurances. So that's what the report is talking about. And the report, Honorable Speaker, is also making reference to the need for this leadership to rise to the occasion, to bring about social cohesion, and also ensure that we mobilize communities behind that vision. So this is what we're actually doing on the ground. We are not talking from the boardrooms. We've been on the ground, we've visited businesses, and they've met with us, including Toyota, South Africa, that there were many distortions which were put on the public discourse that Toyota is intending to vacate or leave the city. So we met with them, they reaffirmed their investment, and they'll continue to invest in our municipality. So therefore, all the notions that suggest that there's nothing that is being done, they are raised by those who are seated in their comfort zones, who are not part and parcel of working with businesses, of working with communities to try and put things into order and retain stability so that we can rebuild and reconstruct the economy of our municipality. Let me also hasten our views, Honorable Speaker, that we have met with law enforcement agencies. We have identified weaknesses which were there, and some of them, they acknowledge them, but they are working hard to ascertain that people's lives will be saved whenever the incidents of this magnitude present themselves to our city. But that also is combined with mobilization of social crime prevention structures on the ground, including re-establishing street committees, ensuring that CPF and community safety forums are activated so that at a grassroots level, people will not become leaderless, but they will be led by leaders at that grassroots level. The ANC itself, it has deployed its senior leadership, members of the National Executive Committee, they were here, ministers, everybody were here, PEC members, RTT members, with our zones and branches. We've been interacting with our communities, giving them assurance that we are leading from the front and will be able to reinstill the culture of high level of discipline to our communities, but working with them by touching their consciences, but also mobilizing them to defend their own property. We must acknowledge the work done by our Metro Police. If we do not do that, we'll be failing our duty. Metro Police was all over with their limited resources. They were able to attend and take some of these incidents that we're confronted with. So we are saying to them, well done, Metro Police, continue to do the work that you are doing with the limited resources at your disposal, but we have done wonders. We also wish to commend communities that have taken to themselves that it's important to rise to the occasion. Santako in this city, in the central region and other regions, they initiated the process of cleaning our areas, our streets, to try and restore law and order and stability. So we wish to commend them. Amazulu FC, they've done the same. Shark Rapid Team have also done the same to join many NGOs, private companies, community-based organizations, ANC structures who have been on the ground to clean it, our masses. We recognize other political parties who also did the same. So we need to work from that solid foundation, Honorable Speaker. It's not true that there's nothing that is being done. We are working, the report is very clear, and will be intervening. Already the national government has started to intervene. We also wish to applaud our national government after President Macron's pronunciation that will also introduce the 350 Rand grant to those poor households in our country and in our municipality. So we welcome that as a very bold and decisive step to ensure that those who have no income in their communities, in their areas, they are indeed being assisted. There are a lot of other interventions which we'll be looking at as a municipality, which will present the report to the council on what become the potential interventions in other areas, including looking at those who have lost their source of income during this period, who require social relief. So those are kind of interventions that the ANC-led municipality will be doing to ensure that we become responsive to the aspirations of our community. So the DA operates from the boardroom and from their cars. They don't know what is happening on the ground. Their leader only arrived weeks after things have happened. They think they can reclaim the stage of being the leader of the society. It's not possible. The ANC still remains and is still intact as a leader of the society. Whenever our people are faced with challenges, you'll find ANC on the ground, you'll find ANC doing something. So we as the council leadership, on your behalf, next week we'll be meeting with the bank so that we can tell you that we are serious in doing our business. To talk on behalf of the taxi industry, which is the...
But Mayor, there's a hand from Councillor Mtetwa. Please pause. Councillor Mtetwa.
No, Mr. Speaker, I had saved my 5 minutes. I want to use it now.
You can't.
I can. It's my time, Madam Speaker.
You've given you time and you decided not to use it.
No, it's fine. I was going to read just 2 things.
Okay, Kubeka.
Because I was there when the mayor people, he was there. And the ANC that you are talking about, they are here to clean the mess that the ANC created. So
can I continue, Honorable Speaker, and be protected from...
You can't tell us about
this protest
because this is the ANC mess.
Can I be protected from this protest?
Please mute Councillor Mtetwa. You're out of order. You're out of order, Councillor Mtetwa. Allow the mayor to speak.
Okay, sure.
No, so Honorable Speaker, we are indeed providing leadership and we are on the ground. And what we received as feedback from the boards that run some of the corridors of our economic corridors in the city is that they are more than committed even to transform the economy, because we raised the issue that this has exposed us on the inequalities, poverty, unemployment that still persists in our communities, that for us to build good relations so that communities can coexist. It's important that we transform the economy to not just rebuild what has been in existence, because by so doing, we'll be maintaining the status quo, but we need to reconstruct the economy so that it can put those who have been locked out of the mainstream economy to participate and own wealth of our country. With that, the African National Congress is still resolute, will continue to provide leadership, will continue to service our communities, will continue to adhere to the calls that our communities are making for the leadership to intervene in their plight. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Is the recommendation agreed?
Madam
Sorry,
Speaker.
sorry, Madam Speaker.
Agreed.
I'm on
The
the list,
DLC
Madam
Oh,
Speaker.
sorry. Dlangamandla. Yes, go ahead.
I'm also on the list.
Madam Speaker.
No, you are not. We're done. The
Madam
mayor is
Speaker,
the last one.
Madam Speaker, the DLC, someone
No,
is
Madam
name.
Speaker, I'm on the list, I
My
know.
name is on the list, Madam Speaker.
Let's look at the first item.
List, the first item, that's correct.
Oh, sure, sorry. Councillor Nkosi ngiyaxolisa ukuthi nikhulume emva komeya. Nkosi yami ngiyaxolisa baba Mayor. We are looking at the last item.
No, it's not wrong. The mayor is the council, like all of us.
Kawuthule Mthetho.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As I welcome the report that has been tabled, regardless whose agenda is, but unfortunately, we are all in a trouble. So many lives has been lost. May their soul rest in peace. And our condolences to those families who have lost their loved ones. But we hope that law enforcement agencies will do their best to bring all those into books, those who have looted, those who have killed people, those who have satellite businesses, because we cannot have a country that will not be controllable. So we are hoping that they will do their best to ensure that people will be arrested. And Madam Speaker, what is so sad is that jobs has been lost and so many services have been disrupted. Now, this means that in the city, we are going to lose a lot of revenue. It's unfortunately for us as a city because you will find that there are so many queues, even in the banks, which is a threat to us having numbers that will rise for COVID-19 pandemic. But we are glad that our city has been declared as under disaster, so then we get so many lives. But we must also commend the Metropolis, Madam Speaker, honestly. Without them and other people who went out and protect businesses, I don't know what is it that we are going to say today. Having said that, I don't want to be part of the helicopters and trains, but we wanted to say thank you for everyone who make sure that what has been left is being protected. Again, the last one but not least, we wanted to thank the founder of the IFP, the Prince of Kwapindangene, by extending assistance to the 29 families to assist for the burial of their loved ones. Thank you.
Dlangamandla, thank you. DLC?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The DLC welcomes the status report of the unrest and recommendations. It is rather unfortunate that the unrest have resulted in major socioeconomic hardships that have almost destroyed our democracy. Social media and fake news, unfortunately, Madam Speaker, played a prominent role in this destruction within our city. Our city is set to lose millions in revenue. Madam Speaker, this is something that we should look into in terms of tightening our belts, implementing further austerity measures, and cutting the fat of expenditure. The report before us is really worrying, Madam Speaker. Over 120,000 people have lost their jobs. Thousands of small and hundreds of huge businesses was looted, burnt, and destroyed, resulting in these owners losing everything they have had to work so hard to build. As a city, Madam Speaker, the DLC supports the city's response, but call on the mayor and city to urgently implement social cohesion programs so that we as citizens can rebuild, reconcile, and move forward.
Sorry, your time is up.
Democracy that Madiba fought his whole life for. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. All right, is the recommendation agreed?
Great.
No.
Agreed.
Is the DA against?
Yes, ma'am.
The DA is against. Who else is
Okay,
against? Who's abstaining? The recommendation is carried.
Madam Speaker, the ACDP is against.
The ACDP is against. Count the ACDP in. Because I don't hear anybody else, it means the recommendation is carried.
Item number 13, Madam Speaker. Election of Ethekwini Municipality Deputy Mayor. Committee recommends.
We have a speaker here. Oh, Chief Whip, your hand is up.
Yes, greetings to you, Madam Speaker. Sikhuleke kumakhosi aseNdlunkulu. Greeting to His Worship the Mayor and the Executive Committee members and the entire councillors, and as well as the city manager and the officials and the public in general, and the media in present. Honorable Speaker, we propose that we defer. Madam Speaker, we propose that we defer this item for a physical council meeting in order to have a free and fair voting. We are not there. Yes, we must be in the fourth industrial revolution, but we are not yet equipped to vote virtually. Hence, we are proposing that you postpone the voting of the deputy mayor and convene the urgent the council meeting that will be physical, so that will be voting. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Angazi, Councillor Nyambose, is that a point of order? Because you were not among the speakers here.
No. This was not about speaking. It was about electing the deputy mayor. We don't speak when we elect. What I wanted to raise, President Speaker, that at least from our side in the DA, we are equipped. We know how to vote online. These things can be done. It becomes a secret ballot. We just want to add you and the municipality to invest in that. You equip other parties to be able to participate in these things. We are ready. If you were to say we must vote now, we know how to vote online. So just.
Okay, Councillor Mtet. But Mayor, Your Worship.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I was still
in the report.
But Mayor, Omega Ngan, Angimzwangu.
Okay. Angimegele umphakathi.
No, I just wanted the mayor to stop being excited. I'm done. Thank you.
But Mayor, you're out of order, Councillor Mtet.
No, it's always out of order. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for your protection. I'm sure Councillor Nyambos read the report. It says the process entails an election of candidates through a secret ballot as per the requirements in terms of Schedule 3 contained in Local Government Municipal Structures Act number 117 of 1998. So I fully support the representation by the Chief Whip of the Council that we need to defer the matter. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Do we agree on the deferment of the item?
Great.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Madam Speaker,
Who's speaking now? Okay,
Madam Speaker, it's Patrick Pulley from the DLC.
Patrick Pillay, we have to deal with the request from the chief whip before I allow you to speak. Can I allow the mayor?
No, I'm covered. I seconded Chief Whip, Honorable Speaker.
Okay. Do you agree on the deferment?
Fully agree.
Agreed, Speaker.
Agreed.
Agreed. Who is against?
We agree, Speaker.
Okay. The recommendation is agreed. Can we move?
Item number 14, Madam Speaker, people mover fare increase. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
No, IFP not support.
IFP not supporting. Who
Agreed,
else?
Madam.
DLC does not support.
TLC not in support.
And the DA is against, Madam Speaker.
The DA is?
Against.
DA not in support.
The MF is
ACDP is
against.
against.
The MF is?
Against.
The MF is against.
The ACDP, Madam Speaker, is against.
ACDP is against. I take it everybody is agreeing.
We don't know whether they know how much is the increase, Madam Speaker, but we fully agree. It's 50 cents. Thank you.
The recommendation is
Oh
carried.
yes, we
Doesn't
know,
matter.
Babu Mayor, we know.
It doesn't matter.
No, don't
Bame
worry.
useqala
It's
chaos
just the whole
bayakhuluma
package
manje laba bantu
of our ratepayers.
bengakhonjiwe. Okay, let's move.
Item number 15, Madam Speaker, is the draft process plan for 2022-2023 Integrated Development Plan Review. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation agreed?
Agreed.
The recommendation is carried.
Item number 16 is the election of a chairperson of Finance, Security and Emergency Services Committee. Committee recommends.
Is the recommendation noted?
Noted.
Not noted.
The recommendation is
Noted.
noted.
Not noted.
Yeah, we do not have an MPEC report. We do not have an ethics committee report. We then move to the motion. We have two motions. Is the motion agreed?
No.
Councillor Singh. Please raise your hand. Councillor Singh, please raise your hand. Please unmute yourself. We've unmuted you. Okay, can you speak on the motion? Councillor
Madam
Sabelo's hand is up, maybe before Councillor Singh.
No, Speaker, it's after Councillor Singh.
Okay.
I was raising my hand so that I can be unmuted as a speaker of the ANC. Thank you. For motion 1 and motion 2.
Okay, can we allow Councillor Singh to speak?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Speaker, it does not surprise me that this ANC-led municipality will continue to reject motions from the Democratic Alliance. The DA is the only party that will continually put motions to council because we want to help the city grow and develop our communities. It is also our duty to speak for those residents who don't have a voice in council. By rejecting this motion today, it will show that the ANC-led municipality does not care for the people in Phoenix and Ethekwini. The DA agrees that there is a need for infill housing, but also requests that proper procedures are done. There are many sports fields, play lots, and vacant lands that are maintained by the community for many of years and now given away for infill housing schemes. These lands still fall under the Ethekwini Municipality. So we can do something now by first having community participation and identifying if the community is happy to allow infill housing development to be erected at a certain identified plot. If there's a majority of objections, then this city is obligated to stop the development and take the land back. It is totally unfair that our kids and future generations will not have a sports field or play lot to play on. It is also unfair that the vacant lands used by the diverse community of Phoenix on a regular basis and maintained by them are taken away. This will impact on religious events or not to be able to cater a funeral process. We then see unmaintained lands that left to be an everyday eyesore because there are no rates on these lands. And these lands are left with growing huge bushes and issues of illegal dumping occurring. Why are these lands first identified for the infill housing scheme? I am certain that the diverse community of Phoenix will rather allow those unmaintained lands to be used instead of our sports fields and play lots. But again, it does not surprise me that this ANC-led municipality does not care for the people of Phoenix. Honorable Mayor, the first time you came to address the community of Phoenix was at Ferndale Grounds, which is Redfern. There alone, you said there's nothing can be done. For the past 3 years, being the face of the city, have you not realized that the Phoenix is a diverse community? Did you not notice there was a huge outcry from this diverse community of Phoenix not to give away the sports fields and play lots? But instead of listening to the people and finding a solution, you continue to ignore them. It is the same way you continue to ignore that under your leadership, this city is now sinking to an abyss. Honorable Mayor, you have failed to acknowledge that the diversity community of Phoenix, CPF members, and private security companies who took it on their own to protect the residents from criminal activities brought on upon these vacant lands that are not maintained and street lights were not working for years. Again, failure of this ANC-led municipality, or should I say ANC Ethekwini massacre of service delivery that should have been provided to the people. Residents cannot, on an ongoing basis, continue to fund cleaning activities where we as the ratepayers are contributing towards functioning of this municipality. Honorable Mayor, I said it before, and I know my colleagues will agree. If this ANC-led municipality cannot cope, just like how the SAPS and Metro Policing, when there were a massacre of looting and attack on our infrastructure that took place last month, then I suggest with some free advice, because we all know how poorly managed your funds under your leadership is. Please step aside and let the DA govern and show what it takes to achieve clear audits and good governance in this metro. I would like to point out that my colleague on the other side, Councillor Stanley Munsami, I'm not sure if he's still here because I know the Indian community is still looking for him. But on a lighter note, he promised the residents of Phoenix that he will lose his job should our play lots and sports field be taken away. I'm not sure whether he already founded the Phoenix Legacy Foundation, but I hope that he supports this motion. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, let me take this opportunity to personally thank the diverse community of Phoenix, the CPF members, and all security companies for their dedication to protect our homes and supermarkets when our city failed to do the job by providing additional Metro polices. Also to take note that these dedicated people, by saving the malls, that they saved thousands of jobs. I would also like to apologize to the diverse community that had their homes destroyed due to these criminal activities. And again, this ANC-led municipality failed to do the job. Shame on you. Thank you.
Councillor Sabelo from the African National Congress. Please unmute and talk, Councillor Sabelo. Hmm?
Thank you very much, Madam. I was muted by Secretariat, but now I'm unmuted. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'd like to greet you, Madam Speaker, His Worship the Mayor of Ethekwini Municipality, the Executive Committee, all councillors, officials, and the residents of Ethekwini Municipality. The African National Congress rejects motion with the contempt that it deserves. It is totally untrue that procedures were not followed when giving authority to develop the infill sites in Phoenix.
Councillor Sabelo, I don't know whether we have a point of order. Councillor Munsami has his hand up. Councillor Stanley Munsami. I go ahead, Councillor Sabelo.
Thank you once more, Madam Speaker. I was saying the African National Congress rejects with the contempt this frivolous motion that has been raised by the Democratic Alliance. It is totally untrue. Procedures were not followed when the developments were to be embarked upon in the infill project in Phoenix. I would like to refer the Democratic Alliance to council resolutions that preceded the allowing of all the developers to go and develop the infill projects in Phoenix. I would also like to bring them to the attention of the residents of Ethekwini Municipality the fact that as Ethekwini we've got a density structure which aims to allow all the residents to have homes in Ethekwini Municipality, and we also aim to ensure that these are decent and affordable homes. The infill project is also part of ensuring that we give these decent and affordable homes to our people. It is typical of the Democratic Alliance, true to their colors as the Democratic Alliance, to try by all means to preserve the status quo of the apartheid spatial planning. This new spatial planning of Ethekwini Municipality aims to ensure that we have got integrated communities where we can all live side by side. It is very true as well, Honorable Speaker, that one of the recent incidents in Phoenix, which has raised up intolerances amongst our communities is as a result of us not being able to live side by side and not being able to know each other so that we can be able to live side by side. Now, this program aims at bringing
Councillor
this social
Sabelo,
cohesion.
there's a hand that is up. Councillor Singh.
Madam Speaker, I would like to put a point of order.
What's the point of order?
Started this motion, I did say that the DA is for infill housing. We only asking that
No. You're starting a discussion. That's not a point of order. Continue, Councillor Sabelo.
housing as well.
You are starting a discussion. That's not a point of order. Allow Councillor Sabelo to speak.
This motion is clear, Honorable Speaker, that the DA wants to cancel the infill project. It's very clear. If you speak about new processes where we are already in the middle of the program of implementing the infill project, it means you want to stop it. So that is why the African National Congress wants to reject this frivolous motion with the contempt that it deserves. And we are saying we are going to continue with this development which ensures social cohesion and which ensures affordable housing to our people. The DA wants to entrench apartheid system which ensures expensive housing to our people. And by this, as the ANC-led municipality, we want to ensure that our people can afford decent housing. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you, Councillor Sabelo. Let's vote. Those who are for the motion.
The DA supports the motion, Madam Speaker.
The DA supports the motion. Who's against?
Mosa supports the motion, Madam Speaker.
Mosa supports. Who else is
ANC
for?
is against the motion.
Who's against?
ANC is against the motion.
ANC is against.
IFP against the motion.
IFP is against.
DLC supports the motion, Madam Speaker.
DLC supports.
MF supports it.
MF supports.
The ACDP supports. The motion.
ACDP supports.
Councillor Ngumalo against.
Councillor Ngumalo is against. Mabanga.
In support. Against, sorry.
Okay, so Councillor Mabanga is against. Councillor Mbanjwa. Councillor Mbanjwa. Okay, the motion is not carried. Thank you. Let's move to the next one. Councillor S. Gavenda. Councillor Mngube, your hand is up. Can we help?
Greetings, Speaker.
Yes, sir.
Speaker, kule point esiphuma kuyona, it's for noting ukuthi ukhansela we-DA wade khuluma wenze a serious allegation and threat ukhansela uMunsam ukuthi all Indian of Phoenix are looking for him. So I think he need to withdraw that, because if anything can happen ukhansela uMunsam, then he will be accountable for what he said in the council meeting. Thank you.
Madam Speaker.
I think it's an issue that we have to make a follow-up. He must not just withdraw. We'll make a follow-up on the matter. Thank you. Let's move to the next item.
Great, Madam Speaker. It needs the police as well. Councillor Munsam must open a case. Thank you.
Let's move to the next motion. Councillor.
Madam Speaker, just to bring to your attention, Councillor S. Gavenda is Councillor Tony Gavenda, so that they can be able to allocate him.
Yeah, it's Tony Gavenda. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Govender. Or do we agree on the motion, councillors?
Yes, we do.
ANC
is against.
is against. Okay. Let's allow Councillor Govender to speak. Councillor Govender, Tony Govender, you can speak now.
Am I audible now, Madam Speaker?
Yes, you are.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it's a rather sad day to see that, the ANC is totally, not supporting this. Of lately, with the high-tech motor vehicles and the speeds that some of the motorists use our roads, it's absolutely disturbing. You must know that most of the arterial roads has residential homes right next door to them. And there's been so many accidents, so many case reports, and yet every time we ask for speed calming, we always get this generic response stating that it does not warrant. I don't see why that this cannot be looked into and the policy be reviewed. Because, Madam Speaker, with the amount of accidents and the tragic loss of life and people being wounded, it's really something that we should be really looking for. And I'm making an appeal, a humble appeal to all my colleagues out there to please support a change in the speed calming policy. I've even asked the department to use funding from my CIP. That was not possible. And every time they tell us, consult with Metro Police. Now we all know the resources and how less or, insufficient resources that they have. So they cannot be in all areas at all the time, Madam Speaker. We've tried as residents as well to do night vigil and see and even do video footage of the speeds that some of these drivers go, particularly after 6 p.m. in the evenings. It is really, really disturbing. I make this humble appeal to all to please reconsider and have this policy change. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Sabelo.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Again, the ANC rejects this motion. It's totally untrue that our policy is ineffective, Honorable Speaker. We've got a policy that is very effective, that has indeed delivered a lot of methods which can calm the speed in our roads in Ethekwini Municipality. We wish the DA brings those specific roads which it feels to complain about, and we can do an assessment in line with the policy that we have already as the municipality, and we will ensure that we ensure that the speed can be controlled in that area. Our policy is very effective, needs not to be changed, but needs to be implemented as we are already currently implementing it. And where there are cases, the DA must not grandstand, it must bring those cases. And as the African National Congress-led municipality, we will deal with those and ensure that it's brought to normality if there is a need for it to be done that way. So the ANC rejects this frivolous motion. Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Thank you. Let's vote on the motion. Those who are against?
ANC is against.
ANC is against. Who else is against?
Councillor Ngumalo is against.
Councillor Ngumalo is against.
Councillor Mabanga is against.
Councillor Mabanga is against. Is Councillor Ngumalo still here? Okay, who is?
Mbanjo ungaka-respond ma.
Oh, Councillor Mbanjwa is.
Yeah.
Uthini Mbanjwa? Are you against, Councillor Mbanj?
Sabuza.
Akabuza, I think uhlamba unqamkile. Kahle Nkosi.
Kahle Nkosi ngempela. Unqumalo lo okhulumayo.
Yebo ba.
Wena uphi? Against.
Against.
Okay. Who is for?
DLC supports the motion, Madam Speaker.
DLC supports.
IFP support the motion, Madam
IFP
Speaker.
supports.
Mosa supports.
Mosa supports.
ACDP supports.
ACDP supports.
MF supports.
MF supports. EPDA.
This is our motion, so we support it fully.
Is shown.
Must I repeat?
Ngikuzwile.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Okay, are we done? The motion is not carried. Okay, we then move to our agenda. Bab Mayor, do you have a report in terms of the Municipal Finance Management Act?
Not today, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Acting City Manager, do you have any report?
No report, Madam Speaker.
Okay, thank you. Item on the report of committee decisions, are those noted, councillors?
Noted.
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 Items for noting, are those noted?
Noted.
Noted, thank you. We, councillors, we don't go out because we still have got 2 items of in committee. We'll allow everybody else to recuse themselves who is not supposed to be in the meeting. Can we cease the live streaming? Please stop the live streaming as well.